Okay, so I have a few things we'll talk about. One thing is so this Airbnb that we're at, it is there's some things I will talk about with it. It is it's a kind of this outdated thing, but it's brought up this whole thing that I want to talk about. But one of the things is it's on a well, and so I just took a shower and washed my hair, and I had the oil in it because there's some kind of essential oil mixture you can put in your hair, and I do have a lot of growth coming in. Like there's lots of, but they're all like white, and so yeah. Also, my eyelashes. My eyelashes are like white too. I can't believe the difference when I put on mascara. And I got regular old mascara again. But anyways, when I washed my hair, so with the well water, it doesn't have that grease in it, that greasy sheen that I keep talking about at my house, where I get out and it's like got this oil slick in my hair, and I have to then put dry shampoo in it. It's like, what the hell is this from the oil on my face? Because I use oils for oils are good for you, so I use almond oil and castor oil on my face instead of all the old shit that I used to use, or you'd spend fucking $100 for some little thing that's gonna get rid of all your wrinkles. It's like, and really it just is God. It's the same thing with all the chemicals. It will, whatever it does, you go without it, then all of a sudden your skin ages a whole lot. You know, kind of like, man, some of these people with the Crohn, like, they haven't had it, and it seems like some of them are getting sick and dying, and they are aging so fast. But I don't know, it makes you kind of think, like, in the movies, do they just put a CGI face over a lot of these people where we think that these people aren't aging? Like, and then you see them in person? Because sometimes there's people who go and do these videos that are kind of shocking. It's like, is this for real? Like, Heather Locklear, like someone getting a video of her going somewhere now. It's like, oh my gosh, she looks so like untaken care of. Like all of the different ones you see, they just do not look like they take care of themselves at all. So I don't know. They look like, they just don't look like they take care of themselves. That's all I know. But man, and the thinness, oh man, I cannot believe the thinness of my hair. And you know, I'll sit there and I'll get like it will bum me out. Like, I mean, I take care of my hair. It's the same thing with my teeth. I take care of my teeth, and the doctor breaks them out. I take care of my hair, and then they come in and fucking radiate us and make our hair fall out, and it's irritating as shit. And but so when I was talking to the, you know, it's like, you know, I'd start trying to heal my hair and, you know, focus, like if I just keep on thinking, oh, my hair's so luscious and thick, it will become luscious and thick and stuff. And then the message was that some things we have to experience because that's where the impact comes from. So, you know, we're going to go into this really being able to heal ourselves. And I think we'll have a boost with the quantum thing. There's a lot of stuff coming out with the med bed stuff and stuff. Like, I think things are going to be going quick. But it's shocking how, like, at the 23rd, all these days come and go. And everybody's still using their cards, using cash. Nobody seems to be concerned about a thing. So I don't know how this is going to impact and hit. There's also, yesterday, the one son-in-law, where I was over at my oldest daughter's, his got family in California, so I asked him, how are they doing? And he said they're in like LA, maybe like Ventura or something, I don't remember. And he said that they aren't having any problem. He said one day they all became really concerned. He said because the ocean receded and went way back. And he said they were all expecting a tsunami. Like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't hear anything about that. And but then it just was fine. And but they still keep having these atmospheric rivers. It makes you think, like, did it recede because they're using their water machines and pulling all that water up into the sky? Because where the hell is all this precipitation coming? I mean, seriously. I mean, how much can you create with chemicals and stuff? I mean, I don't know, maybe they're sucking water out like a vacuum and then shooting it back out over, creating their atmospheric river. I don't know, it's supposed to be really bad this weekend, but I didn't the other day I just left kind of more spontaneously because I was just doing stuff. I was baking my cookies and whatnot. And my mom texted me and she said, asked me if I was there already or when I was going because there was going to be a storm on the pass. She must have seen it on the news. And so I said, oh, I didn't even know. Fuck. This is like, it's middle of March. Yeah, it's almost the end of March. It's almost April. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't thinking like, oh, well, it's probably a storm. So I went and looked, and that day that I was doing stuff, it was a dry day. It was completely dry until like 5 a.m. And then it was going to start raining and snowing. And I was like, oh my God, even though it kept saying it was going to just be snowing or raining at first, it was like, 70%, 80%. When it's like that, it's like hard ass rain going across the paths and shit like that, and going through these weavy mountain roads and going fast and going downhill. I don't like to go on wet roads. I mean, I've hydroplaned enough times, that it's like scary. I'm always like kind of gripping onto the wheel and trying to keep my tires on the ground, like, oh, pushing down. I know there's something about our energy. I swear to God, things are so much different than how it's all it's our concept, is how they tell us the things that we need to and stuff. It's crazy, but I just know. And before I even left, this was totally trippy, because before I left, I was like, thinking about the past, and I was like doing all this stuff, and I was having like this huge anxiety. I have no idea. I keep getting these anxious things that I don't know where they're coming from. So I don't know if it's like the collective. I have no idea. It's weird, and it is. It feels like so much stress, and so then I was. So I kept feeling really weird, like, oh my God, do I even want to drive? Like, I'm just going back and forth. Like, that's all I ever have to talk to is them. So, just going, back and forth with my kind of neurotic, about safety and all that stuff. And they just are constantly, you just got to trust. You got to, stop worrying about, because I do get so. Think about every single fucking time that I say I'm going to go somewhere, then all of a sudden it's like some date that they're like, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And then I go and then I see it was fine, and they keep trying to get me to see, like, things are fine. If you are protected, 100%, every single person is protected until the time that you're supposed to exit. When you exit, you go. It's not like you're not protected anymore, but it's kind of like they open the door so you can get the hell out. So it isn't, like right now, it's just like the door's not going to open unless it's supposed to open. You can't leave, and they told me that about 10 zillion jillion times. So that is something I just know for sure. You have a birth date and you have an expiration date, and miracles happen every day. People think, oh, it's a miracle. No, it just wasn't your time to go. When it's your time to go, the craziest thing. You can be walking and slip on a drop of water and fall down and conk your head, and that was your door to open to get out. So, all the things, that's why so many things don't make sense unless you're looking at it from a certain perspective. And so the thing is, so when I came and everything, and so I drove early, and I've just been like super busy. I haven't had any time to record at all. And I did go on TikTok to check and see, I guess YouTube, I have no idea what's going on with my account. I had gotten an email from YouTube that they were taking down my account, or taking down a video for false information. It was an old video too. It was about the WATER. And how long ago was I talking about that? And then they came in and just suddenly took it down and said that was against, I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever it is, I don't remember. They're fucking bullshit. And so, I was like, man, they're so crazy. You get 10 to 15 views, but we're going to watch over, because we don't need you talking to anybody. Like, it's mental. Like, it's so mental. On my TikTok too. And then, so I went on there to check to see what was going on. And because I keep expecting, all these more, I mean, you don't know at this point, like, are they just going to take down the whole TikTok? And, and I see people like today, I saw somebody, because I did go on and check and see if I could see anything going on. And all the talk is TikTok. And wow, this one guy. And see, this is the awakening. This is what you got to think about. This is about the awakening. And this guy, so I'm pretty sure he was liberal. I couldn't tell at first. I saw his first video, and he was saying a bunch of stuff that I totally agreed with. Like, it was like, hell yeah. And it was about censorship and what they're doing. Like, if you, the Congress thing was on TikTok live. Like, it was every 2 or 3 videos it was on there. So you kept seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. So you couldn't miss. And then plus people were sharing the outrageous things. And then people were going on and doing videos talking about their outrage watching it. So like, you have a lot of people watching, something we used to not do. That's a part of the awakening. Go on and actually watch Congress with their bullshit. And then they're all seeing, so they're all fucking outraged. For one thing, why the fuck are these old men making decisions for us? For another thing, they talk nonsense. They ask stupid shit. They say stupid shit. They don't let people finish talking. It's just a runaround. And so people are seeing that because they're tuning in. So awakening and questioning things. It's all about questioning things. So they're seeing that. It's waking them up. And then, so this guy who I had seen who was talking before, he was saying this whole thing. He was so disgusted watching these old men making decisions, and he was he's like spitting mad while he's yelling into his video. And so I followed him. He had a lot of passion about it. And so, I wanted to see, he was watching, he was going to keep on top of it. So I was like, this is the guy to follow and get this perspective, because, he's got a big perspective there. So then another video of his popped up. And then that's when I was like, oh, this guy's a liberal. He's not a fucking, because the stuff he was saying, he thought that it was the conservatives going after his rights. And the conservatives were the ones who were doing all this to take down TikTok. And so he was saying, no, this is both sides. He said it was enough when we had them controlling us. This is fucking, Christian conservative Republicans or something. They all have a really bad taste in their mouth, because it's been sold to them that these people want to control them and make them all go to church and live this certain way. It's like, no. These people are just more in alignment with their soul, and your soul will tell you to live a certain way. It's not like people trying to put rules. God, there's a rule book inside you. You don't need other people's rules. You'll feel the rules. You go try and break a rule, you'll feel it. And then, depending on, who you're listening to, because you got both sides. And then you have to go in and go sit with yourself and discernment and think, like, play it out. If it's confusing which side you're listening to, because they can be confusing. The dark can be intoxicating. So you have to really sit with your information and, figure out which way am I going? Am I going towards the dark? Am I going towards the light? And, it should become obvious. And if it's not, that's part of your journey, is figuring it out. And so, anyways, there you got the, these people who are just freaking so pissed because, they thought that the liberals were protecting them and giving them rights. And so watching is letting them see. And so that guy was saying, you guys need to be really clear. This is the people who are, it's like our team is going against us. He was pissed, man. And he obviously had a following, and he was pissed he was going to lose his platform. And because there's a huge, liberal thing. It's not just on the conservative conspiracy talk, those other people don't realize that is the drive, is why they're trying to take it down. is because there's too many of us that are sharing too much stuff. And I think, just like when you go on there and you see what's going on live in Paris, like I see it day, it's all day. I mean, it's fucking civil war happening. There's all the people on the streets and stuff, and just, I don't know, just gathering and standing around and just standing there, and then talking, and sometimes there's chanting and marching and burning and stuff, but definitely seems like a lot of civil unrest. Like Paris seems to be, but this is going on in a whole bunch of different places. But so I think they don't want us to, they've got enough problems in each city as communities come together, as people stand together. And so, they're going to be swallowed up. They know that they're going to be swallowed. But, I think maybe it's like intimidating. They're just doing everything they can to control it. But I think there's also this part where it is being used to distract, because so many people are focused on that. And it's like the money stuff is crashing. Russia just went and paid off all of, was it Africa's debt or something? They just paid off somebody's debt. A huge, huge thing. And that is all about the awakening. It's all to get us to pay attention. Like, all of these people are going on the gold standard. They're not going to accept the dollar because the dollar is a worthless piece of paper. So that is, and however it's got to be shown, because you can fucking tell people and tell people and tell people and they don't hear you. I totally get what Trump was talking about. You can't tell people. You have to show them. They have to see. And that's what we're going through all this. But then you see these people being outraged and stuff, and you see like, oh, this is waking them up. Because these people they're pissed. Like, they're going on against my First Amendment rights, and they don't even realize like the intensity about how much, like, they've been going against your human or your rights. As soon as it's like they drew a line in the sand, and you can't cross it. And every single one of us who continually tries to cross it, they just knock you back down. I mean, like, look at my account. It's so fucking heavily censored. It's mental. And then they still come in and take down videos. It's like, dude, you're not even letting anybody see my fucking videos to begin with. Like, how trapped do I have to be? Like, I mean, every time they do it, it's just like that kick in the gut, I mean, just like when Apple and iCloud took down all of my fucking 5 or 6 years of all of my media, all my pictures, all my videos, it just wiped it out. It was devastating. But boy, I'll tell you what, it sure has taught me to let go. Like, fuck. And I'm seeing so many people going through that same thing now. So many people are in the storage wars with what is going on. It's so funny how this space and stuff, like, it's giving you a whole new perspective when you start hearing words used in certain contexts of what's really going on here. And it's about us. I have this really cool kind of thing. Like, I've had these different ones when just me. I talked about it before, and throughout my awakening, like, the one day when all of a sudden I switched sizes. It was weird. It was just like in Alice in Wonderland, in the movie, where all of a sudden she becomes really tiny, and then all of a sudden she just pops up and becomes huge in the room. I had those same that same thing happen. I think it was around 2015, 20. It was when I started like doing the yoga, the Reiki class, and all of that stuff. Is like, fuck, things were just coming to life. Like, I had them talking to me all the time. They're sparkling in my eyes, like it was going crazy. And so I was getting all sorts of trippy things that would happen. But then when that one happened, it is so trippy. And I saw too, one time when it was around the same time when I was watching, I don't remember, I think it must have been Lucy with Mickey. Or was it Stella? I don't know. I think it was Stella. Yeah, because Lucy was part of my dark night. Yeah, she was a part of my loss. And yeah, Stella was a part of my, she was another phase of it. So, but she was playing with Mickey. And all of a sudden, I got the perspective from Stella. It was like all of a sudden I was in her for a second and I could see she had no concept. Little dogs can be around her and feel like she's huge and they'll freak out. But she can't tell that she's huge. But she has that attitude, like, she's a chest bumper to other dogs. Like, yeah, you want to do something. And she knows she can, knock them down. But so she has, like, she knows her strength or something, but she doesn't know her size. And so when they had given me that, this perspective of me changing sizes, it was, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. You just have to, like, if it happens to you, you'll understand it then. And I think it's, to kind of give us the idea, like, size doesn't matter. Like, it's all, like a bacteria, like, to us could seem microscopic, but its world that it's living is just as real as the world we're living in. So, size doesn't matter. And then that also, there's so many, other beings and stuff that are so much bigger than us and so much smaller than us. We disrespect the smaller ones and we fear the bigger ones. So, I think that is part of us just, understanding ourselves more and understanding this place better or something. But I still haven't gotten back to that one part that I wanted to talk about too, because when I've been in this Airbnb place, for one thing, wanting to do my own, and going into them, you go into them looking at things differently, so you notice certain things and you're like, oh, well, I want to make sure I have this. I want to make sure I don't have that. I want to make sure this is that way, So you kind of, it's like you're gauging kind of. And so, I'm looking at things maybe more harshly than if you just came in and stayed or something. The fucking getting a fire going here is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And then supposedly left us a one fire thing. It's like, what? I start fires all the time. Like, you didn't leave crap here. Like, what are you talking about? This is for one fire. No, you didn't give us anything to start a fire. This gas thing in here, this gas stove, which totally freaked me out this morning, is, and it's freezing. And I thought, I'm going to the desert, so I thought, well, I'm gonna bring more, like, some shorts and stuff. I don't want to be thinking like it's gonna be like cold, like where I'm at in the forest mountains. And it's fucking freezing. I'm colder here than I was at home. And it's so motherfucking windy. God damn, it's cold. And the sky is so weird. And I've seen helicopters going. I even asked my granddaughter, I said, no, I was asking my daughter, but my granddaughter was sitting there. And I said, are those Army helicopters? Are they always over there doing that? Is this something different? And my daughter, she's always like, because they all think I pay attention to weird stuff, like, oh my God. I don't know. I don't pay attention if that's, I don't know what they're doing if they're over there all the time. And my granddaughter said, oh yeah, they're over there all the time. That's over there where they practice doing bombs and stuff. They fly around and do all sorts of stuff. And my daughter was kind of like, oh, well, I don't know. I didn't pay any attention. I don't pay. But it's been pointed out to her over and over and over where she's starting to really see she's not paying attention in life. Because there was a few more conversations. In one of them, it was like, oh my God, I don't know what you pay attention to something, I don't know. And I said, and she said, I don't see any of that stuff. That stuff is not going. I don't watch the news. I said, I don't watch the news. I pay attention in life. And I said, I'm paying attention about what things are going on. I said, you don't pay attention. You pay attention to reality TV. And Kayla pays attention to fucking work. I said, you guys don't pay attention, but I do. And I don't remember what she was about to say. It was in her fella. He goes, yeah, she's right. That's what you do pay attention to. Reality TV. That's your shows. That's what you watch. And so then it was kind of where she's like, people don't realize that they distract themselves. You're not paying attention in life because you're distracting yourself. And that's why they've gotten all these things done around us, why they're fucking killing us right under our fucking noses, and people don't realize. So, you know, I mean, I don't think I can go into a room at this point and something's not going to, you know, give you a little burst, a little bust towards awakening. It's just like the energy that I'm, you know, it's not even like I'm trying to say things. It's like certain conversations get brought up. Like the universe starts beginning to speak through you, you know, and man, I'm telling you, like when I don't listen, and they point things out in the most, oh my God. Okay, all I can say is they are nonstop talking to you. They're nonstop giving you signs. And when you don't notice and you're in constant communication, they will make sure that you're like, okay, well, I guess you don't listen in as well as you think you do because we just told you and you didn't listen. I'm always like, oh my God, I see totally, yes. I gotta get better of being able to like every little fucking thing. Like there's so many things besides just get your raincoat, you know, there's gonna be rain. Like I'm sure that they kept pointing out to me, grab a coat, grab a coat, grab a coat. They pointed out to me all these different coats. And, you know, I was like totally focused on, you know, what I thought. You know, I need to be prepared. I need to have outfits for going out. It's gonna be warm. I got fucking summer clothes. I got clothes for going out. I was like, you know, I don't know. I do get excited to get dressed up because I do like, you know, I've been spending for years dressing up for just myself in my house. Like, I like clothes. So, anyways, but so this place is, you know, there's some challenges and stuff, but one of the things is it's very like old fashioned. Like, it's kind of like, I mean, it is a theme kind of one, you know, like they wanted to do kind of, there's like big black bears everywhere. There's like this giant, I don't even know how big that fucking deer or elk would have to be to have such giant horns. I mean, that thing is huge. It's like four, I don't know, 4 feet tall, just one of them. Yeah, so, and then they have a chandelier of all of those, you know, and I don't know, that could be fake. It could not be really, whatever those things are called that come out of deer heads. Can't think, anglers or something. I'm tired. I swear today I was like, this bright light is nice when you have big bags under your eyes. It's like, man, I have been like, with the sleep situation, just totally fucked. And then even coming here, I've been sleeping on couches so long. I have to sleep on the couch because the bedrooms are upstairs and I can't go upstairs. Stella can't go up the stairs. Even when I went up there to look, she just sat at the bottom of the stairs crying. So I have to sleep on the couch, just sleep down here so I can sleep next to her. But there's some futon, but still she didn't sleep good. And she just can only sleep for a couple hours and then she just wakes up. And so she's constantly waking me up. And then at some point, it's just like I give up. But, you know, she'll do that all throughout the day, usually. And so I'm just in a sleep deprivation or sleep deprived or something. Feel like I'm missing some hours, you know, and then getting just restful, undisturbed sleep. And then getting, man, to get to sleep in my own bed. Or it's almost nice to sleep so many times, like all night long. Go on my bed, go on the couch, get up, go back on. You know, it's like, oh my God, so annoying. But anyway, so back to this place. So, you know, it's got some really cool stuff, but some of the stuff is super, super outdated and total lack of any kind of like, I mean, it's weird because they put a theme, but it's like a lack of personal style. It's so, and there's like no art on the walls and stuff. It's just, you know, like a couple of little things like, you know, like this little picture or something, but it's not, I don't know, it's very stale. The walls are all like really white. The floor's this outdated kind of floor from the 70s. It reminds me of when I started going and looking at campers back when I was married. So this was even, you know, back in like 2012 or something. And we were looking, because we got this camper right before we got divorced. That's what I was saying. It was like we were getting him like his 15th new truck. a fucking new truck, a new camper, a new this, a new that, like all this shit. And it was like, and see, that was the burden to me, where I was like, I gotta stay married. I got all this fucking debt. I've got my name entangled with his now, and he didn't have that same drive, so he could just drop me, which ended up being good for me because, you know, my rules for myself were kept containing me. So luckily for me, he didn't have those rules. He was like, you know, let it go quick. So anyways, been a lot of stuff I had to clean up. But when we were going on looking for campers, there was a big difference. There was like a huge jump that happened, and it was like, it reminds me of kind of like going from the 70s to the 80s or something, but really it's from the 90s to the 2000s, I think, of this style. But the style reminds me so much of the 70s. It's like light wood floors, white walls, light wood, the kitchen all white and light wood and stuff. And then you'd go into the new ones, and everything would be rich, deep colors, earth tones, darker cabinets. Everything was just deep and rich. I'm sure at some point it's going to switch back to this light, because but right now it's still, the darker is more homey. It's more just like a richness in the color. This feels like stale. It feels cold. It feels like outdated. And you know, it's crazy because there's just like small things you could do to completely update it. Like, it needs a new floor, it needs a new kitchen table, or it needs some things besides just a bunch of throw pillows. It really, you know, it gives it that really outdated thing. You know, no shame on this person, but to me, it's like, it really shows that this is just a business to you. It's just a way to make money. You don't really care. It's almost like you're turning your Airbnb into like a slumlord place. Like, you go and turn on a faucet, the faucet handle comes off. The lighting things are weird. I tried to start the gas fireplace because it's so freaking cold, and I couldn't even get that started. I don't even know if I smelled gas, but then I got totally freaked out and I thought I had a gas leak. And I'm sitting over here looking at the TikTok thing in the morning, drinking my cup of tea, and I start getting really lightheaded and nauseous and stuff, and my nose is so stopped up. I was like, fuck, I can't even smell. I keep going over there. Did I leave the gas on? And gas freaks me out. It was freaking me out when I couldn't get it lit. It's like, turn it off. And but then I started feeling so weird. Then I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to go wake up my daughter and have her come out and see. I was like, I think she would rather come out, you know, get woke up and come out and see if she smells gas than for me to just sit here and be like, well, I don't want to wake anybody up. But I was thinking, you know, that's just always the way I was always, I'll do it myself. And that was one of the problems even when I was a nurse, was because there was so much of, you know, I'll do it myself. And that's what got me fired out of the NICU, is you have to be completely whatever the doctor, you know. And the thing that would put me off from always wanting to call doctors for every little fucking thing was doctors' attitudes. Like, how much fucking times do you have to you call and, you know, that they treat you like shit and talk down to you, and, you know, you should figure that out for yourself. And then you go and it's a doctor who, you better call them every little fucking thing. Then all of a sudden you're not compliant and you're not doing what you're told. And I was thinking so much of that at the hospital is about doing what you're told. So much of being in this society is doing what you're told. Don't ask questions. Don't, you know, just do what you're told. The administrator, the boss, the CEO, they're telling you, and you just do what you're told. And, you know, it's all of us have to question. You know, I mean, that is one of the things where I was like, man, this is what's keeping this system going right now. Like, there's so many people who they're just there just for the paycheck. They don't care about community. They don't care about, you know, they're just there to get a paycheck. So they'll do, you know, there's a lot of pressure on them. There's just a lot. But when I was thinking about this outdated place and stuff, it was also making me think about like my spirituality, and thinking, well, this is the same thing that would happen with my spirituality. And when, because I was spiritual before, which I think gave me an extra edge throughout my awakening, is that I already have that background, I already have that book opened inside, So I already understood, like, about reincarnation, about souls. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I already understood that people don't seem to understand at all. But still, it had grown stagnant, It was just like, it's just, I've got a label, I'm spiritual, but that's all it kind of was. Like, I didn't even really understand about all of the spiritual practice and stuff. It was just like trying to identify yourself in the beginning and knowing real religion isn't my thing. I feel the control, I feel the lies in it. And so I didn't want anything to do with that. And so then going and choosing, like, well, no, I'm just spiritual. And people didn't even understand what the fuck that meant. But it was like, okay, well, I'm good. I'm spiritual. I go straight to God. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody could understand. But I was satisfied. And, and I'd read a lot of stuff about reincarnation, your death. So I felt like I get it. I'm just living my life. And when it's over, I know what's going to happen. And I wasn't worried about it. But, I didn't know that you could improve your life. I didn't know that you could do work and heal and fix things. I didn't know you could be in charge of how things went, instead of just being a victim to life. I didn't know I could take control. So, and I didn't know, how much things are based on perspective. Even though, I grew up hearing about the cup half full or half empty. Especially having this sister who read Norman Vincent Peale when we were really young. And, she was constantly about that kind of stuff, You're just negative. You just look at the negative. You're just, so I was always having to think about, what am I looking at? Am I being negative? I would always think I'm a realist. Maybe a little bit of a neurotic realist, but I think I'm a realist. I don't think I'm just like, nope, it's the end. Oh, it's just negative. No. Even with all this stuff going on, one of the reasons I speak out is because people are so negative and think it's the end. It's the beginning. We're just getting started. Life is about to begin for us. Nothing. The end is near. That's what they just said. But the end is the end of something that was toxic. It's the end of a disease. So, but it's the beginning of a healthy life after the disease is cleared, So, and so many people don't understand this. So that is, and that to me seems like positive. So, I don't know, but you're going to be positive and negative and to all different people. It's by how they perceive. It's what they envision. It's what they see. It's how they understand the world. So, we don't all understand each other. And we don't have to. We're not meant to. It's not supposed to be, well, that's the only way forward is to understand each and every person. No, it's just like, oh, well, I don't understand you, but you do you and I'll do me. It's all it is. And so then when the awakening started, then that is when I started seeing like these practices, like doing Reiki, doing yoga, going and doing, to me, it's like, I don't know what it would be called, like Qi or something, or this Kwang Dong. I don't know the names of some of this stuff. It just is like my body just started doing it. And I would just start doing these things. I would just like allow myself to do these things, even though it seemed strange. But it felt like it knew what it was supposed to do. So I was doing all this weird stuff. And, but it was like tuning me more into myself, and I was learning more, like going and learning about Reiki and about energy and how you can feel, like you can feel the energy, and we have energy that we're moving all the time, and we are energy, and we're putting out energy. And the whole thing about energy. So that was with yoga, that taught me so much. The yoga girl taught like positions and stuff, and she was very much like, get in there and breathe and release. And she wanted you to just be farting and grunting and groaning and breathing out, releasing, all of these energy. Let all this energy out of you. Just, get tuned into your body and stuff. And when you're in a class and stuff, that's why I'm like, in a class and stuff, you're not focused. You're focused on, doing the position right and, all of that kind of stuff. You're not really tuned into your body and going into, feeling what your stuff feels like and just releasing your energy. When you start doing this stuff by yourself and stuff, and start just really releasing energy, like that's where I started noticing, just sitting around the house, how much like you could feel tense and how much just sighing and releasing like big grunts and groans, like release energy, like you don't feel tense anymore. You just, I can do that a few times, and it's like it really does release, and you can focus on where you're releasing energy from and stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff, so tuning into your body and doing that kind of stuff. So I learned about that kind of stuff, about the energy and releasing it and being mindful. Like everything just started expanding. So much started growing when I started healing and growing and tuning into myself and really going into the spiritual practices. So that is when I was like, oh, like there is so much more to spirituality than just being spiritual. There is, it's like a path to walk and a path to enlightenment, a path to find yourself. And, and in this path we're on here, and finding yourself is releasing this other, existence that we were told was real, that was never real, that was really just there to control us, to create a habitat. It's like taking the fish out of the ocean and putting them in your salt water tank and making the tank look like it's a real ocean or something. It's like that's all they have done, is just create this false world. And the more that people keep waking up, the more they want to just contain us. I mean, old Gator's out there now, he's going public about he's ready to dim the sun. And it's like, where in the world did anybody give this guy the fucking crown? Like, this person crowned themselves and out of these, blind followers. And that is one of the good things too with, the censorship and stuff. Like, I don't know with the liberals, if they're going to start being like, what are we talking about so much? We can't have our rights. If they're going to start questioning, like, is there some other information going on that we're not hearing about? Oh my gosh, this just goes on and goes on and goes on. But anyways, I probably am not going to have a lot of time. I mean, I get up so much earlier. I probably will have time to do more recording tomorrow. It's just there's going to be lots of more family coming and stuff. And this place is kind of cool. It is kind of strange. Like, it's way out, going through, it was like dirt roads and private drives and going way out through all this farming. And so there's like fields of stuff everywhere. And then you pull up finally this one, but then there's this little cabin, but then there's this, I don't know if it shares a lot. I don't know if these are the hosts living in this trailer over here. And then you have this little barn back there. And then it's like, I don't know, someone I think is living here. I don't know. Because it seems kind of like this place is just, I don't know. I just feel like people have got to put more of their heart and soul into things. Put more of your heart and soul into life, Don't just, I'm telling you, when you go into really trying to live your best purpose, live your best life, it really, it changes things. I mean, my life has gotten so much better, and I didn't even know it was possible. I had to get, a brain injury and go through, another destroyed relationship for me to see life could come better. I had to get to the worst it could possibly be for me to see it could get better. But I had to play my part. I had to, jump in and direct it. Like, stop playing victim to the life. Start, it's empowerment. It's just like, and what they're training these kids to be is victims. in all of their programming. Just go in and watch the fucking programming. They just want a bunch of fucking mindless victims, because victims are helpless. Victims become hopeless, and it's empowerment when you realize, you have control. Yeah, somebody could be abusive, but you're playing something out. And as soon as you learn the lesson, you're not going to play that shit out. So that's empowerment. So it's all about learning, and it's all about growing. And it really literally changes your life into something so much better. I might do some videos too of the sky. The sky is really weird here. Now she's gonna start barking. I don't know if she sees something out there. Just sees there's a bunch of windows. She sees reflections and she thinks it's something. I don't think she can see very good anymore. And she's sitting there gassing me out with her farts. She hasn't eaten in 2 days, so I don't even know what this gas situation. Oh, she ate a treat. I forgot. So, anyways, I will be back. Hopefully everything is going good for everybody else. I don't really know. All I know is that they're saying they're gonna Stella take down TikTok. And my guides are telling me, if it goes down, that's the way it's supposed to happen. I don't know. I mean, my YouTube one is the one that stresses me out more. If everything goes, I mean, that's what's supposed to happen. But I've seen where people on TikTok, are trying to get their VPN and get on there and stuff like that. It's like they don't realize, no, it's not going to be the same. Once they shut out all of America, then you're going to be on there, but it's going to be a lot of people who speak other languages. They're talking about things going on in their place. And a lot of the countries there's like 5 other countries that have been closed out that are not allowed internet access because of all the trauma that's going on in the countries. They're trying to block it. Iran being one of them. And there's other ones where they're taking down the internet. So the people who are trying to stay on, you'd have the Canadians, but they've got their own stuff going on. They have some empathy for us. Like I'll see them come on and say, but they've got their own shit going on. They've got a lot going on there. And so, you're not going to have all of this whole group of people that are there going through what you're going through. So I don't know. It is handy to have, because you do have you see things happening live and stuff. So it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the world a little bit. But yeah, the people in America who are trying to stay on, it's like I already saw that on Twitter. Once all those people go off that you are communicating with and talking to and stuff like that, it just isn't. It's like there's nobody really, they'll see. Yeah, so anyways, but I don't know what's going to go down, if the TikTok goes down, all those people, because everybody's quitting Facebook and Instagram and Meta because of Zuckerberg going in and trying to do some nonsense. So I don't know, are they directing and hurting people towards a certain platform? Or is YouTube going to go down too? Or are they going to try and direct people towards there? And then there's going to be a huge release of information. I don't know. Are they trying to limit where we can look for things so that when things start coming? Because it's crazy how that judge has come out and said there's no debt. It's illegal for them to charge you debt at this point. And people just don't even know. It's like, is this the game they play? If you don't know your rights are swallowed up. You have to know your rights. And there's court orders that say they cannot take money from us anymore like that. We don't have to pay their debt and shit. And you can look it up and see, but that is, right there, all the stuff that is going on. And I've seen more people that talk about the birth certificate and explaining how you can go in and find how much your value is. And when you go in and you see, like, there's all these different trade companies that are trading on you, and each of them give you a value. Then you add up all those values, but the guy said, keep in mind that the value is in the millions. It's not in the thousands. So when you're looking at the numbers, that it's in the millions. So everybody has huge value. Like he's saying, like, the values are like 9 million, 10 million, $20 million. And I don't know that they're just going to turn around and fill your account with $20 million. I don't think you know, unless everything goes down where there's nothing to go shopping, because so many people, their priorities are, you know, they get that money and be like a lottery winner. And this is a reprioritizing, and I don't know, maybe that is going to be some of the people's thing to learn. I don't know, you know, because I think everybody's going into this next part having everything you want, having everything you need. That's going into a time of receiving, not of lack. And so the experiences are going to be different. And what you're learning is going to be different. You're going to be learning different sides of yourself, different perspectives, different things to think about and look at. And so, you know, it's a whole new lesson plan. It's like a new class is starting. So anyways, the sun is coming up and the light's changing outside. So anyways, you know, we all have to know our rights. And, you know, I already had stopped paying the debt stuff. But, you know, like I have to pay my car to my mom, and she, as long as the bank will take it, she'll take it. So the banks are going to have to still go down. Supposedly that's supposed to be by the end of this month that it's going to be completely switched over, because I heard it's already switched over onto the quantum one. So I don't know. All I know is a lot of stuff is going on. A lot of changes are happening. It's going to be changing. I mean, everything's going to be changing. So, you know, just, I don't know, just go with the flow. And to me, just keep on working on you, and things just get better and better. And life will get better and better, even though, you know, trying to make all our hair fall out. But that is really, you know, to impact us, to get us to notice, like, fuck, man, like my hair is so thin now, like what the hell? And, you know, and most people don't realize, well, you know, I'll point it out, it's radiation poisoning. You know what happens when you go to radiation, your hair falls out. What happens, like, you get a 5G and then, you know, it's blasting. I don't even want this thing charging around me. And I yesterday, even when I went to charge it last night, I was like, I don't even want it charging in my suitcase and radiating my clothes. Then I'm going to have to wear those clothes, and then they're radiated. It's like, you know, these are things that we don't even really realize, like how the chemicals and the radiation and stuff that we are going through. And so, but, you know, it's part of the awakening. But just, to me, my whole thing is just knowing, okay, well, med bed's going to fix this. Med bed's going to fix my eyes. Med bed's going to fix my teeth. Med bed's going to get this artificial shit out of me, you know. So anyways, I'll be excited when we get to that part. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.